Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems. Thanks for supporting the community. Remember why you started.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems. Today, we have a very special guest, Albert, the managing director of the Stacks Web3 Startup Lab, and he's going to come on today and talk about Bitcoin startups. We're going to talk about a couple of people building, and they've launched their some of the projects have launched on testnet or on mainnet, and they're looking to potentially down the road join the Stack Startups Accelerator. Before we dive into many topics today, covering what the Web3 Accelerator is and how Albert got started on his journey with Stacks, we're going to want to know, Albert, James, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Really excited to chat with Albert here. He's been doing great stuff all around. So just handing it over to Albert.
Thanks, James. And thanks, Zero, for having me. Looking forward to our conversation today.
Albert, thanks so much for stopping by Zero Authority. We've been really awestruck with all of the work that you're doing for the pre-accelerator and getting people, teams, projects up to speed on the startup methodology, how they can go faster, further, and how they can build Web3 products. And so we're just super stoked to have you on today. And also we want people to tune in, and if you have any questions, join the live chat on YouTube or on Twitch. Ask some questions and we'll show it on screen. And we're going to jump in here. Albert, can you tell us why you joined Stacks and what gets you excited about Bitcoin startups?
Well, the main reason why I joined Stacks is because of my dear friend Trevor Owens, who's the maybe some of you know, he's the managing partner at the Stacks Ventures Accelerator.
And a lot of the teams are working on their startup ideas. What gets you excited about Bitcoin startups?
Well, maybe to answer that question, I maybe should start with, why I joined Stacks after Trevor, tracked me down. So when Trevor asked me to do this pre-accelerator at Stacks because they were having such a huge overflow at the accelerator, I was, of course, I did my homework. I've been very fortunate in my entrepreneurial journey to have met many people, including, for example, the first round investors for Ripple, first round investor for Binance, before any of these companies were on the map. And also lucky to have met throughout my career other mainnet founders. So, and all these, I don't have to say all the names, but they pulled me in many different directions, right? And so actually none of them suggested me to come to Stacks because they're selling their own blockchain or another one. And the reason why I came to Stacks is because of my ethos, right? Just a little background on myself is we ended up running the longest running pre-accelerator program in China at 21 cohorts.
Wow.
And Trevor Owens helped me do that from day one. Yeah, so we're the longest running pre-accelerator in China, and it's probably the longest running pre-accelerator globally.
Wow.
And so the first cohort at the Stacks Web 3.0 Startup Lab is actually our 22nd cohort. Yeah, so this is in a very big part, I have to shout out to Trevor Owens to help us kick that off. And so when Trevor came to me and I did my research, all my other friends were now part of mature or more mature blockchains. And as I mentioned just earlier, we were able to stick with it and to keep running a pre-accelerator, which means that we're in the business of being part of the entrepreneurial journey at the very beginning. So things that are not established excite me. Things that are not established excite me. And then Stacks is there, right? And on Ethereum or Ethereum-based chains, it's a very crowded market. It's a very crowded market. On Stacks, we have around 75 startups building on Stacks right now, plus or minus. Compare that with tens of thousands on other chains. So come here. And the other thing is, maybe I like to make the analogy of blockchains are sort of like a digital. If you think of it as digital land, then Ethereum-based blockchains is developed. There's a lot of buildings. There's a lot of infrastructure. It's maturing, right? And you take that in comparison, on Bitcoin, all this digital land is largely undeveloped. Right? So if you take if you think back to the wild west of the United States, Ethereum is sort of like the East Coast. It's already developed, but then going west, there's nothing there, right? It's just, are you willing to go out there and use your imagination and build it? And that's what excites me about building on Stacks and Bitcoin is a prospect of the sky's the limit. Do whatever you imagine, and there's just less people to get in your way. That's exciting.
Yeah, that really is exciting. I like that nation state analogy. And also because like there's different kind of ethos, there's different people that find themselves in these different nations, and they have different goals, and that means different solutions too, right? So sometimes you might have a different solution here as opposed to elsewhere. So
yeah, that's a great way to further that mental picture, right? There's just so many different things that can be done. So it doesn't matter like what type of background you're from, right? If you're entrepreneurial and you want to do something great and you want to get in at the ground level, then Stacks and Bitcoin is probably your best bet right now.
Yeah, when you throw out that analogy as well, Albert, something else that comes to mind, and I tell a lot of people, I bought in the second ICO for Stacks, and around that time, really you only had Ethereum and Stacks really that had like really good documentation and could explain what they were trying to achieve and what were DAOs and what is a non-fungible token and why are we building on Bitcoin. And so that's learning about Stacks made me learn more about Bitcoin as well. And just kind of thinking about your analogy even further, when people start expanding west and eventually the gold run, right, that whole the 49ers and the gold rush kicked off, that's kind of how I think about building on Stacks too. And I was just tweeting with Patrick Stanley this morning because he was saying he was talking to Munib and really excited about this year and next year and what Stacks will be enabled with Bitcoin. And so that digital land that you're talking about, this gold rush is happening right now. And especially as Ethereum goes to the proof of stake, and you're going to have Bitcoin with proof of work, and you have all of these other POS chains, the proof of stake chains. I really think the value proposition for Stacks with decentralization, censorship resistance is really going to be the value proposition for Stacks and Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
I really do. Also, great. Wanted to throw a shout out there. You guys are starting to do the Bitcoin Innovation Spotlight. So if you guys are listening, please check out the recording. And also we saw Teflon Musk. He said GM to us. So GM, back to you, brother. And I think you guys are going to start doing this on a weekly, monthly basis. Albert, what's the goal with the Bitcoin Innovation Spotlight?
Yeah, good question. Thank you, Zero. So we have a weekly. We used to be a private weekly catch-up meeting, and the students felt that they wanted to let more people know about the tight-knit community we've created within Stacks, within the startup lab. So we just made that conversation public, and then it's just a conversation on us catching up with each other. And then if there are any outstanding issues that a lot of people are facing, we'll dive in and see how we can help each other out, give each other resources, try each other's products, or introduce people to each other. And as part of that conversation, the second part of that conversation, we're going to start highlighting one of our startups per week. And we're just calling that the Bitcoin Innovation Spotlight. Yeah.
That's really cool. Really cool. And I think this is a good time to tell us, and I didn't know your background. You started the pre-accelerator, or the accelerator in China, because I think YC is up to about, if not 20, close to that. And so to hear you guys have 20 cohorts or 22, that's phenomenal reach, man. That's crazy. That's a lot of companies coming out of the accelerator.
Yeah.
No, Y Combinator is somebody we look up to. Definitely a pioneer in the field. They've been in the game for over 10 years. We did 21 cores in 5 years, 9 last year alone. So it's really booming. But the differentiator there, I just want to make sure everyone understands, is that YC is later stage than us. Right? So most of our companies are joining us. They're not even companies; they're ideas, right? Whereas perhaps Y Combinator, sometimes they take an idea, but if truth be told, most of the time they already have like a little bit of revenue, or at least a product that already has users using it. Yeah, so that's the main differentiator between us and them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's really cool too, because you're definitely filling a hole here. I haven't heard of anything like this on Ethereum or elsewhere. There's a lot of people that have good ideas, and they just don't really know where to start, how to test their ideas, how to pivot. So would love for you to speak to that, what all you're seeing with these Bitcoin startups and how they're going from the ideation phase to putting some stuff on paper.
I want to echo that. Definitely, what I've seen in the other blockchains, that they like to throw a lot of hackathons. Like, for example, we know Solana's doing this big hackathon this summer as well, and then this is how they normally find new projects. They just brute force it. They got started earlier, right? And they have the luxury of doing that. And for us, we're more targeted, and the service that we provide, from ideation and coaching people hand in hand, very high VIP service. This is a service that, to the best of my knowledge, is not readily available, not just in the blockchain space, but even globally. Right. So this is a very big differentiator for Stacks, that we're doing this.
Yeah, and we really, when I think about Stacks, I just think about it as a dedicated team of people who see the value of building on something that's going to last for the next 100 plus years. And so seeing this, the pre-accelerator, and having Stacks startup, it gives people an avenue to, and I do think hackathons are really great tools. And I know, like Zero Authority, we would love to do one later once we're up and running with the marketplace, with the Cerulean marketplace for services. And we've seen Alex, we've seen Arcadico, a ton of really solid teams and companies are doing some hackathons. So that's a great avenue. But where I get really excited for the Web3 Founders Lab, I'm sorry, I've been saying the name wrong. The Web3 Startup Lab, Albert, and the Stacks Startup, is that people have a vested interest in creating a company and going from idea to product and to service. And I've really seen this evolution recently, where people are maturing the way they're thinking about starting their companies because we have the pre-accelerator, we have stack startups to think about, hey, this needs to be a real legitimate company that earns profits and revenues and can pay people. But also in Web3, because we have communities, we can pay contributions to the DAO or to our protocols.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like Alex, Arcadico, they're pioneers, they're visionaries, along with everyone else who's part of the ecosystem right now. You mentioned Ethereum merge. Once they have those fast transaction speeds and low gas fees, then all those other Ethereum-based blockchains, most of them are going to die out because a lot of them that was their value proposition, right?
Yeah.
So definitely don't be in one of those. The next thing is the regulation is coming down, right?
Mhm.
And Bitcoin has been accepted by a lot of large institutional players as well as governments around the world, but Ethereum hasn't yet, right? So when the regulation comes, the hammer drops. From my point of view, and also from what we see in the news and what's going on tech-wise, actually Stacks and Bitcoin is the most solid blockchain combination. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you give us some background on the Web3 startup lab, and what are some of the teams that you see coming through the first cohort, and is the applications open for second cohort?
Okay, yeah. Which one should I start with? Should I start with? How about we just start with some of the teams,
Yeah,
and then we'll get
do
into
that.
how to get involved.
Yeah.
Second.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I mean, first cohort we went through. Just to give everyone some background, we went through 674 applications. About 400 of those were backlogged from the accelerator, and about 200 were the new applicants. And we we're lucky enough to work with 25 talented teams, right? And now so there's actually a bunch of new novel products being built on Stacks and Bitcoin right now. But to save everyone's time, let's just highlight three of them. The first one is really exciting. They leverage new technology with Stacks, DLC with Stacks to unlock the power of native Bitcoin. So it's non-custodial options trading platform. Right. So first time ever done on Stacks and Bitcoin. Yeah, this is a super awesome project. So they're launching on testnet later this month. Super strong team. If you guys want to check it out, you guys can see it on screen. So that's the first one. They came up with the idea. They came up with the idea. They came in with an insurance idea actually, and they went through our
Albert,
process, and they actually changed their
what
idea.
was the name of the one you're talking about for the options?
Oh, right. The it's called Tally DeFi.
Okay, Tally DeFi.
Yeah, but then we recently the name was recently changed through a community voting, so it's now called Deep Lake Options.
Deep Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that one. Your recommended to follow.
Try Tally DeFi. Yeah. Really strong team. They came in with just a idea. They pivoted 6 times, and just did a super job going through the program, building their Twitter following, building their Discord following, and now they're launching a product on testnet and then soon mainnet. So that's definitely going to be exciting because I don't know how many people know this, but about 50% of liquidity pool investors lose their money from impermanence loss. Right, so their solution protects you from that. Right, so not only does it protect you, but you can also make money on it. It's
Albert,
quite the innovation, and it's non-custodial, decentralized.
what was the name of their handle?
At Tally DeFi.
At Tally DeFi, and that's TALLY.
TALI.
Oh, TALI. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me
Okay.
look it up right now.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, at TALI DeFi. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's pull them up. Give them a follow. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
cool. We've been hearing more about derivatives, people building derivative platforms on Stack. So really cool to see this come to life.
Yeah. So this is going to be leveraging some new technologies on blockchain
Did you
and
say they're
using
using
Stack smart
BSC?
contracts to, yes.
Okay, really cool stuff.
Yeah. So you can put your Bitcoin there, lock it up with a DLC. It's completely non-custodial. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And another one you were telling us about, and we have met the team a few times, is BitFlow.
Yes, Bitflow. Bitflow is another one. Just to sum it up, Bitcoin doesn't produce a yield, right? Well, with Bitflow, it will produce a yield for you now, and it's non-custodial. Yeah, so this is also a great team. They came in with a project that they've been working on for a year, and found out, after 1 week in the program, they decided to pivot, and they ended up with a much better project, which is this one. And so they've also done a great job of getting traction, um, building their Discord, and they're launching on testnet also later this month. So it's already 19th, so almost there. So
Really?
stay tuned for this one also. Yeah, I'm excited about this. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of talking with Dylan when they were pivoting, and he was, polling people in the community about DeFi and your pain points with stable coins and all of that. And I think that's just emblematic of like what you guys are pushing people, is figuring out what needs to be built, and that's really great for them too.
Yeah.
So.
And then the next one, and this is I saw Tio put out a tweet who wanted to play chess, and I thought, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. T.O. Trevor Owens, this is one of the teams that just graduated from our first cohort, and we're very proud because they are the first team to launch on mainnet and to break first revenue, right?
Wow.
Which is huge for us. Yeah.
Really cool.
So that happened today, actually. That happened August 19th today.
Wow, that's
so if
cool.
you guys like to play chess, let's play a game.
That's so cool.
Yeah. We'll. I'm not a big chess player, so I'll lose a game, but sounds like fun.
Yeah, like consider a donation to the company. But yeah, this team is also a very strong company. They came in with a very big idea, doing metaverse, linking the metaverse with basically the retail stores in the city. So, but then they quickly found out that was just the build was too big, and the time to revenue was too long. So they just turned it around, and now this is actually just a pilot run. This is just one of the games of many games that are going to be launching in the coming weeks and months. And they have a very innovative method of taking proven Web2 games. So they already have users. The user play has already been validated. People like to play these games, and with their technology, they put a wrapper around it, and they turn it into a Web3 game. Right, so it takes away all the pain of Web2 game developers. Like, oh, how should we do Web3? Well, no more problem. So this is great. This is great, right? This is going to bring a lot of, all these projects are going to bring a lot of users onto Stacks and Bitcoin. Gaming is something that traditionally does very well in bear markets, because people tend to tighten their purse strings. They stay at home more, and then when you're bored, what do? One of the things you'll do is play a game. So I think this is definitely going to blossom in the coming months. Yeah.
Albert, I was telling James Huddle Stacks a while back, I actually love games like this where you can play chess. I love stack degens, like just like kind of like the old school racing fun games, because a lot of people don't realize casual gaming that you can just do on a phone, your mobile phone eventually, or just a laptop. Casual gaming is a huge piece of gaming, and so easy to play games that can get progressively more increasing difficulty. Those are games that people love to play when they're at home, and so that people just love games like this, and these are the ones that I actually think you can grow into and do more later.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Casual gaming, it's a huge market actually.
It
It's
is.
massive. So very excited to see it come to Stacks and um and it's very easy to play. This is just a 5 minute game, right? So even if if you're not like a big chess player, 5 minutes is harmless, and
Yeah.
it's a good way to pass your time.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I,
everyone check it out. Check it out. It's live now, and maybe we'll play each other online.
yeah. I was gonna say too, just real quick, that it's the solution to the gaming too is really interesting. How you can kind of just put that wrapper on there, and then um, you have all these other people that are on other chains trying to do GameFi, and they have a token, they give a bunch of NFTs, and you go, wait, why am I playing this game? Is it just to get more NFTs of this project? Like, with chess, you don't have to ask, why am I playing this game? People have been playing it for over thousands of years, right? So it's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then
So yeah, I mean, we're gonna start. We're gonna start with basics, and once we grow a following there, then there'll be a natural progression to just normal gaming to more like group gaming to metaverse gaming, right? So there's gonna be it's gonna grow as Stacks and Bitcoin and a user base grows. Yeah,
yeah, for
yeah, good point.
sure it is. And what is cohort 2 looking for now? Is the applications open?
Not yet, not yet. Good question. So, what we have a pretty ambitious goal. I think if people have followed me, the pin tweet is we're going to do 300 new BTC startups on Stacks in 2023.
Wow.
Okay, so that's roughly 100 companies, 100 teams going through the pre-accelerator every 4 months.
Wow, that's huge.
Right. So to build up to that, yeah. So we already became the biggest and longest running pre-accelerator in China, and now we're going to become the biggest uh, and longest running accelerator on Stacks and Bitcoin, right, in the world. So that's our goal. We appreciate any kind of support we can get, and we encourage everyone with an idea to come apply. And so we're doing something that's basically unheard of. Like, for example, I think most people have heard of Startup Weekend, and that's like a 2.5 day crash course on lean startup and pitching at the end, right? And they, at the Startup Weekend, usually you have about half a day to do customer interviews, customer discovery, basically idea validation, right? So what we're doing is we're going to turn that process into a 3-week process, okay? And it's going to be the mini pre-accelerator. So this is the most transformative program or part of the program that all of our students in China and globally have said, and we're going to blow it up. Normally what you see on the market is just 1 day, 2 days, whatever, right? But we're going to do this for 3 weeks, right? And then you'll be able to find a co-founder in this. You're going to be able to work with this potential co-founder to see if your chemistry matches. You're going to be pivoting your idea to something that has tremendous market value. You'll be validating how you can leverage Stacks and Bitcoin to create a phenomenal new project, right? And then of course, if you pass the program, right, if you finish it, then you get fast tracked into the Web3 startup lab.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to be running those. Hopefully, we can make that announcement sometime in September. So we're going to be calling that the Web3 startup launcher, right? That 3-week program. So it's actually 2 + 3 weeks. 2 weeks self-study and then 3 weeks VIP service to get you up to speed so you hit the ground running in the pre-accelerator that is starting early next year. Yeah.
What's the time commitment from the teams? Is it Monday to Friday, couple of hours? Is it weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, for both the startup launcher and the startup lab, we recommend you work on weekends more, and then if you work during the weeknights. So the startup launcher is a little easier because normally something that's done in a few days, we give you 3 weeks to do, right? Which actually is more effective, right? You could go deeper, you build a stronger foundation, and that's sort of like a warm up to see it. Right. If your idea has legs and it doesn't, then find one. We'll show you how to find an idea that works. Gives you a chance to find co-founders. Gets you ready to see if you want to take the plunge into entrepreneurship. So you could be working full time, and you could be doing this part time. And so the idea is that if you're able to finish this and enjoy the process, right, and meet some awesome people on Stacks through this, then come and double down on the pre-accelerator, right? Which is also part-time, but obviously, as with anything in life, the more time you put into it, the more you get out of it. Yeah.
That's very true. And I'm super excited to see all of the different people. I guarantee there's going to be some people that we know that'll be going through and doing this. And, you talk to people, there's a lot of people that they want to transition. And, before it was really big ask to go and say, okay, you're going from zero to accelerator all at once. And give people some steps along the way is a little easier.
No, James, that's exactly what it is. Right? It gives you time to acclimate to the water temperature, to get used to it. So we, instead of just doing one shot like 0 to accelerator, yeah, that's just too intensive. So we break it up into 2 parts. Yeah, exactly. Good point. Yeah, and then there's a lot of talented teams that we turned down that we didn't want to turn down. Just the reality is that the pre-accelerator could take only so many teams. So we're going to give everyone a chance to get started even before the pre-accelerator. So we're hoping to invite back the people that didn't get into the pre-accelerator. Hopefully there was no hard feelings. It wasn't a light decision. we wish we could take everyone. But next time we run it, we're gonna target 100 teams. So we're definitely expanding our team and going to be able to take on more teams in parallel. Yeah.
That's really, really interesting where we are, right? Because Stack's mainnet launch was at the beginning of 2021. So we're a year and a couple of months into this, and we're seeing that there's demand from people who want to pursue entrepreneurship. Maybe, and I think about myself or James, like we know about all the startups through the early, or I'll say late 2000s, and then into 2010 to 2000, let's say 16, during that whole startup phase, and we both missed kind of like that period of time. And when we talk to a lot of people and founding teams and core contributors in Stacks, they have a startup mindset. They've been entrepreneurial in their backgrounds, and now this is the opportunity that they've been waiting for. This is, like you said, this is new untapped digital land building on Bitcoin, powered by Stacks. They've probably had a startup idea before, and now joining the pre-accelerator, you can pivot into something that's more viable and really start on that journey and grow over time with you and your co-founder and the community that you're building, and then get into the scale phase and the hyper growth phase after that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I completely agree with you. The Stacks Foundation, they've done such a great job. Mitchell, Will, all those people there, and everyone such as yourselves, everyone working in concerted effort. This past year has basically you guys did all the groundwork, so everyone can hit the ground running now, right? So this is a perfect timing, not just for Stacks, but also globally. People say it's a bear market, but guess what? Over 65% of the biggest companies in the United States, they started in the bear market,
Hmm.
right? So it's actually better to start up now, right? Uh, Blockchain crypto has hit a critical mass, and now it entered into a bear market. So what happens is a lot of the pretenders they scatter, right?
Hmm.
So you have less competition, right? So and in general, you can find talent easier, right? You can find talent easier, cheaper, um, all across the board. Running a startup during a bear market is less capital.
Hmm.
Your marketing dollars goes further because there's less people that trying to get noticed, right? So your marketing goes a lot further. And just to give you guys some hard facts, looking back 120 years ago, we have General Motors started in a depression. You look at Disney, that started in a depression, a bear market. Revlon. If you want something more modern, you look at 1975, 1976. Apple and Microsoft came out of a bear market, right? And now they're two of the largest companies in the world. If you want something even more recent, in 2008, right, there was a financial crisis. There's a financial crisis, but then that's when the shared economy um,
Hmm.
started. For example, just to name a few, right? Uber and Airbnb, amongst a bunch of other unicorns that sprouted up during that bear market. So this bear market is not going to be any different. It's actually the biggest opportunity, probably in moving forward in blockchain history, Bitcoin and Stacks. Yeah, it's going to be huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we really feel the wave.
Yeah, I tell Zero all
Yeah,
the time. I'm like, you know, when you're in the bull market, you see all of these products coming to market, and it might be the next banana swap or something. And it's like, man, how did the real innovative ideas, they're getting kind of boxed out from all of these things that are shiny and quick, right? And so now people get
yeah,
to really try
yeah.
out some innovative stuff that might shift markets and really attract investors. And yeah, the light
That's a
shines
really
through.
good point. That's a really good point because during a bull market, there's so much money being thrown around that everyone will try a bunch of different stuff, and there's a lot of false positives, meaning that people will try out stuff, and then founders will think, "Oh, maybe I got something." But in a bear market, guess what? Everyone is tightening their purse strings. People are going to only spend on things that they really care about. It doesn't matter if you're like a normal user, a person, or a business. You're just going to focus on things you really need, and that helps founders focus in and build something with a real need, right? And that's the foundation of a great startup.
Absolutely. And we have a couple minutes left here. Wanted to remind everyone, if you want to learn about Stacks, go to stacks.co. There's a ton of information. Uh, Everyone from the Stacks Foundation, like you said, Mitchell, Andrea, Kyle, Trevor. I mean, there's so many more. Brittany on the foundation side. There's a whole team, and even the Hero team. We need to start highlighting what Hero's doing more. They've just started some monthly developer calls too. So if you want to get engaged and learn more about how to build systems and how to build on Stacks blockchain, you could start doing that in your own time on the weekends. So then you could join the Web3 Founders Lab, or you can join the accelerator later on. Another reminder, Zero Authority, we have the beta launch here. So we have people coming into the marketplace and saying, hey, you know what? You can, right now it's only a directory, but people are able to find each other. Right now, it's really hard to find specific people for specific things. If you want to work and just with the trusted people in the community, we're also on the path for the Cerulean marketplace to decentralize over time. So once we get the Web3 logins and we get people that can do can offer work in a trustless way that we believe that can even accelerate teams and projects even further and faster. So please give that check us out there. And before we wrap, Albert, we definitely wanted to ask you, what is something that has surprised you about the Stacks teams, ecosystems, leaders, people in the communities on Stacks?
Yeah, let me just answer that with one general. I think the main differentiator for Stacks, our entire community, aside from the obvious things that we already mentioned, is the tight-knit community,
Mhm.
right? In our cohorts, everyone helps each other out so much with everything. And the amount of support, I mean, we got 200 applicants in just under 2 months on our first cohort because the Stacks Foundation and everybody was helping retweet or introduce people. You guys helped. And I mean, the amount of collaboration is real here, right? And I think that's the beautiful thing about Stacks. I mean, I don't know if that surprised me because I know what kind of person Trevor is,
Mhm.
but it's definitely something that is a very positive thing.
Yeah, that we feel it every day, and we're thankful that you would stop by here. That even though we've been doing this for many months and we are always still surprised when people want to stop by the 030 live stream or drop by for our weekly chats and spend some time, because time is precious, and to do that and also share just the updates and what people are building. We find that as our mission in the Stacks ecosystem as well, to promote others and show what's possible when you build on Bitcoin and it's powered by Stacks. So we just thank you so much today, Albert, for dropping by.
No, thank you for you guys. Let's keep the dialogue going offline. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
love to
absolutely.
dive into because it looks like you guys made a lot of progress in a couple of short months. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'd like to see how we can support.
Yeah, I was gonna say as well, Albert, as you are moving forward and you start these additional building blocks for people entrepreneurs looking to come. We'd love to help out. That's what Zero Authority DAO is all about too. We'd love to help you out in any way that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
One
Thank you, guys.
reminder, on Monday, we have our Twitter space coming up, and we're going to talk to Jack Ben Switch, Kaylee, Hodlestack's going to be there. We're going to hopefully Purple Suede can drop by, Rafa. We're going to talk about building trust in Web3 communities. After there was a couple of rugs in the community, we want to just have an open dialogue and talk more about how do we build systems that are open, transparent, and build it in a trustless way where we don't have to rely on a single point of failure. So like we say, we believe in decentralized, permissionless systems that are censorship resistant, and we stand by that. So Albert, thank you so much for joining and sharing the updates and the teams that are building. We really appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you. You guys are doing a great job and a great service to the community. Looking forward to seeing more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what you guys are building over there and the new teams coming out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
All right. You guys everyone have a good day, good afternoon, good night.
Yeah.
Take
Have
care.
a good weekend ahead.
Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems. Thanks for supporting the community. Remember why you started.